I think that once I started to accept like the city where I'm from, as well as like being from the suburbs but living so close to the city, and like just accepting the dynamic, I think that I saw a lot of people kind of relate to me in the aspect that they're like, oh my God, this is like, that's cool that you're doing this stuff because you're from this area where a lot of people know that music isn't a huge thing, especially hip hop. Like, there is a scene here now, like especially with younger kids and like people my age in their early 20s, but I think that it's just really spread out and kind of nobody really wants to work together. And that's just out of natural, like, just there's no, like a sound. Personally for me, I think that it's just allowed me to embrace more of like who I am and what I represent in general. And especially like my music and what I talk about, and like, I make some songs I just make for fun, just to vibe, but like other songs, like I talk about my experiences and like being from this area is just so, everything, it's almost like with music, everything takes a little bit more of a grind because there's not avenues for you. Like you kind of have to make it yourself. Like if you want to do it, a lot of it's on social media now, but like, it's just more of a rarity around here to like be doing music, especially like in the hip hop scene.
My name is Claire Yotts. I am a musician or independent musician, and I'm also right now I'm working in marketing. I just graduated school, so kind of new to the work life. I think that in the back of my head, like I'm always worried about fitting in to a certain box when it comes to my sound and like a certain genre with my music. But I think that recently, especially like after the end, that was probably one of my more experimental songs. I've become more accustomed and welcomed the idea of me experimenting with my sound more often and not really just sticking to what I'm comfortable with, which is kind of more of the melodic cloud rap plug and B sound. That sound will always be my core sound as an artist, but I also feel like that sound is more seen like in the underground rap scene. And I think that I also want to prove to people, my supporters, as well as just people in general who come across my music, that I can also do more than just these so-said genres or these specific genres. And that I also want to give people a taste of mainstream sound with a more serious tone. So as an artist, personally, I'm never trying to box myself in, but I'm also always trying to find different lanes and different bags within my sound that I feel like I'm really good at and confident in that I can develop over time.
We're in the North End right now. I'm with my videographer, Reggie. Also went to high school with, we've been locked in for a minute. We also went to college together, which is kind of crazy too. Although we transferred. I
was at a different college before, and then I transferred to UMass. Yeah.
Same school as well. But I graduated. He still has to take exams and stuff. But we're gonna shoot a video for an unreleased song that I have right now that I think it might be my next drop. I'm not too sure yet. Definitely on some totally different vibes from my last drop, AI. Definitely slower, more like R&B rap. A little bit more lyrical, more in depth, almost on some like lyrical Drake kind of introspective type shit, with like a sample beat, or a beat that has a sample. But I'm super excited for it. I have always wanted to kind of make a song more in this lane. I'm trying to like every single song I make like this year, I'm trying to have it almost be like a completely different vibe, or just building off of certain like bags in my music, different lanes. So yeah, this is gonna be like more of like a aesthetic type of like tonal video. Might incorporate some lyrics just because the song is definitely more of a storytelling type of song. But yeah, I'm super excited. So this is like our first location here in this like little like North Square in the North End. This is like a classic spot. Super hyped, super excited to see how it turns out. Reggie's shooting in film. This is like style.
How does it feel to live a lie every day? Nothing is real to you. I cannot feel
This song is a little bit depressing, but it's actually about my first girlfriend when I was 16, and I'm gay, surprise. So I was always super comfortable with who I was and who I liked, and the fact that I was gay and that I liked girls. But we just had a very, very like a tough relationship, just like a lot of like what everybody's first relationship is like super, super complex, like a lot of new feelings and just, yeah, learning everything. The song is about basically the struggle that I struggled with being in relationships that were closeted on one side. So I was in a relationship for a year and in another relationship for 3 years where I kept the relationship a secret for the other girl. Basically kind of about the feelings that I struggled with about being in a closeted relationship and sacrificing that for somebody else.
I'm always looking to shoot videos that match the tone and like the vibe of the song itself. So I think that going forward, I'm always going to keep, not necessarily always going bigger for every video, but just always coming up with the style of visuals that fits the sonic sound of my specific song that I'm releasing. So just always having the visuals convey the message that I wanted to and the vision that I have for that specific track.
This is Reginald Foster. That's my name. I am currently shooting a video for Claire Yotts. She is amazing, talented, multifaceted artist, and I'm doing Super 8 for her. I've known Claire probably since high school, since like freshman year of high school. Went to high school together, went to college together. Her growth as an artist has been really, really good. Like, I've been following her for a minute, and you can see how tapped in she is with her work. Just not even just like, it's more so about creativity, and it's not about like quantity, it's about quality. So her quality as an artist.
I didn't know it was questions about me. You better be...
No, I'm saying. No, I'm saying how good quality of your music is. Like, we've been trying to work. This is our first time ever working together.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Sorry, we're going back and forth, but I'm taking over your interview now because I want to talk.
Take over. It's about you.
But we went to high school together. I don't know why I remember this, but you came up to me because I think I was listening to Dirty Sprite 2.
Yeah.
And you were like, how you get Dirty Sprite 2? You got Apple Music? And I was like, I got Spotify. And you were like, you were like, what's your Spotify login or some shit? Like, but we were just talking about Future.
Yeah.
But I don't know why this is our first time that we ever.
I think it's the niche thing. Like, I wasn't really into this type of stuff until as soon as I graduated high school. So stuff like that, you just tap into it, and then you get more into it as soon as you go and know like you're actually good at it.
I think like I didn't feel confident enough in my music to be like, and I think you were it was like we were both, like you just said, like getting good at what we were doing at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think it was like we were both like just trying to lock in with our own shit, and then finally I think we were able to come together like now at a time.
At a good point.
Yeah.
At a perfect time, actually.
I know. For real, like right when like I feel like it couldn't have worked like better timing, I feel like. I think that in general, it always, like my childhood memories that I constantly think about, like at least once a day, have to do with my grandmother, my dad's mom. and she actually passed away when I was a senior in high school. Yeah, so I was 18, but she like raised me. She was like really, I mean, no, that's no dig to my mom, but my mom knows that. She was like a second mom to me. My parents worked full time growing up, so they both worked 9 to 5s. My dad was more of a 9 to 5. My mom was like a 10 to like 9. But so like she took care of us from when I was like a baby, like newborn, until I was like 16, I would say. Actually, I had a younger sister, so yeah, like 16, until my older sister was old enough to watch us. But she was still like always involved in our lives. But like my whole childhood, like now since she like passed, I feel like whenever I like think about my childhood or like reminisce on anything, it always like involves her, like no matter what, because she was like always around. Like I learned, like she was there, like for like every first of like everything. She was there like when I came home after break, like girls dumped me. She was there like when like from I don't even like everything. Like it was crazy. It's just, and it's not me saying like my parents weren't there. It's just that she was the one who was present because they were working, and like she was there when I got back home from school and like had a bad day, from when I was first went to school all the way up until my junior year of high school, which is pretty much like almost my entire time in like my hometown. So I think like when I think back like on my childhood or memories, like it's really any memory that involves her. But like specifically, it's probably like being with, like we would do this like thing where like my nana always like loved to cook, and she always cooked us dinner, and it always be like 4 o'clock. It was so weird, like it was super early, and because she like wanted us to eat when we came home from school. But we would like all go like outside in my backyard. I had like a perfect like rectangular backyard when I like growing up in like my house, and like we would go, me, my 2 sisters, and my grandmother and my grandfather, my papa, I call them like Nana and Papa. We would like play like a game of wiffle ball, and like I'll never forget this one time he like threw the ball, and this has happened like multiple times actually, not even one time. And I was a decent, like pretty good like baseball, softball player in when I was younger, and into high school played softball, and I just nailed him like right in the face with a fucking like, I don't even think it was a wiffle ball. I think it was a real like a baseball. But we would always play like it would always be like a game, like we would always play like some game like in the summertime. But like being older and like looking back, I think that's like, it's so weird to look back on, because now like my grandmother's passed, my grandfather's passed, which are both my dad's parents, and my childhood. I can't forget my childhood dog. My best friend, love of my life, right there. I had like a dog, and since I was like 4 until I was like, she just died like last year. She was like 15 years old. She was like the fattest, most overweight puggle, but she was the best. But it's just weird to like look back and like acknowledge that like life moves on. I think when people like die and like pass away, like no matter how close or how like not close they are, even if it's like a public figure, you're just like, whoa, like life just kind of, it's just like a different, you acknowledge life from a different aspect. To make the most of me being home after school and saving up money and just being a 23-year-old, I have to embrace where I'm at right now. And I think a big part of that has been embracing being back in my hometown, even though like maybe to society it'd be made common to judge for me not being moved out or something like that, or like still being in my hometown. But I think it's all about right now with my music especially is kind of embracing New England, where I'm from, my story, my personal story, and just kind of all of the above. It's just always important. I'm always future focused. I kind of live like day to day, kind of like always thinking in the future. I'm never, ever, ever thinking about the past or even the present. I'm always thinking about what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next. And I think that like since like January, I've been really focused on trying to live in the present and just focus on the now. Because it's just always been hard for me, but I struggle with really, really like debilitating anxiety. And I'm so forward and future focused that I've just realized that I don't focus enough on the present, and it's like a big part of what kind of is the ground base for my anxiety and kind of like the mental issues that I struggle with. So, but being home and kind of going through the process that I am now and accepting that I'm home, and finding the joy that it brought me when I was younger, not high school, and kind of had like a snotty attitude towards it. I think that like that's only gonna do me like better in the future in general. And when I do move to whatever city, I'm always gonna think back. I'll be able to think back on this time and appreciate it, instead of leaving out of angst and leaving out of being like, I need to get out of here, and like be able to be like, oh, like this is home. Like take a deep breath.
The thing that I hold really close to me about my music is the person that's behind it, that's making the music, and that's in me. And I think that I really, really want to allow people to follow my journey as closely as possible. But I just always want to like hold true to myself, to be like honest and be transparent with supporters or people who are listening, because I really, really feel like it's so important, to me at least, making music that I want to be relatable, and I and I feel like what makes me relatable is just being honest about any experiences that I've had in life, and how like my thought process and how my mind works, and like plans and what I think about certain things, in like general, like any topic. But I really want people to be able to, like, I want people to feel excited for like and be a part of like this journey that I like have going with my music. I want people to be inspired and be influenced by it, and I honestly want to like find, like, hopefully there's a day where like I feel like I want to be like an impactful female artist. It's really important for me to like represent like female rappers and female hip-hop artists. I just think that there's so much growth that in like just there's so much more that needs to be like, it's not done, but there's so much more to come from like female artists in the hip-hop genre, like, that I just am so excited to see like what comes of that in the future. And like I would love, and I hope to be a part of that one day. It's a thing that's the thing that makes me so excited for like what's to come, is like I'm so confident, and like I know that I'm doing what's making me happy. So like I have no questions or fear about the future. And I'm also super excited to see that I've been with my girlfriend for 2 years now, 2.5 years, 2 years now, and 2.5, yeah, 2.5 years now, and I think we're at a point in our relationship where it's gonna be really exciting to see like what comes in the near future, like possibly moving in together or just experiencing kind of new things in life together. I really want to travel more. I know she wants to travel more too. Just being like in our young 20s, being 23, and like experiencing new things with her.
Well, do you remember the first time you saw me?
Like before we started dating?
Yes. Because I remember what I think it was, but I don't remember.
Yes, I remember we were at Theta Chi at UMass.
Yep.
And I had a girlfriend.
Yep.
And you had a girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were dancing with me, and not your dancer.
With you.
Well, we were dancing in the same vicinity.
Near you.
Yeah. And then But we didn't really talk.
No.
We briefly
We
talked, and it was
normally talk.
Halloween because we were in costume.
Yeah.
That was the first time we saw each other. But the first time we hung out was when we went paddleboarding. But I still had a girlfriend.
Right.
So that was a little sus.
Well, I remember it set us up, but they were just trying to like make us hang out, like.
I hope she doesn't watch this.
And then you met my dog.
Yep, I came over and I met your dog, but that was on the same day.
Do you think she remembered you?
Who?
Minnie. No way. She's pretty dumb.
No.
She's very dumb. She was shaking today when we were putting her in her crate.
I'm not a fan of this onion.
Okay.
Are you a fan of that onion?
As people, we're so polar opposite. And like but that's what I love about our relationship and her. She shares her interests with me and I share my interests with her, and but we share these experiences together. Some weekends, like, she's doing stuff that I want to do. Then the next weekend, we're doing stuff that she wants to do. And like, we might not like it, or like might not be our hobby, but like we like have the best time doing it together. So I think like I just appreciate her, like, just her fluidity and willingness to like our adaptability together and her adaptability. She doesn't like rap music, sorry. But she does not like, Lizzie, my girlfriend, does not like hip-hop or rap music. Does she like my music? Sometimes. Yes. Occasionally. Yes, she does like my music. But I think that it's so, I'm not trying to be cliche, but like, oh, she's the most amazing person. But like, I'm telling you, like, she doesn't listen to rap at all. Like, not even like Rap Caviar, like the most basic, Travis Scott, Drake, nothing. I took her to the Drake concert. She didn't know one song, one dance, nope. Like, nothing. Like, literally not even like the classics, like Marvin's Room, Over, not one song, not one lyric. But this girl went to the Drake concert with me, stood there the whole time, didn't know one lyric, while I was like crying, like screaming every Drake song, like a little girl. Like, and like that, just like that experience in our kind of like, just that's like story about the Drake concert really describes like her supportiveness with my career. Like, she really puts herself out there for me to be like supportive, and she does things that she probably doesn't want to do, like take behind the scenes photos for me, like music videos, or listen to songs that she probably doesn't want to for 6-hour car rides, or like listen to my music for like 3 different songs, like, or 3 different versions of songs, until like she figures out what she doesn't like about it, like helps me figure out what I don't like about it, or like she just gives me such an there's no better outside perspective that I could ask for. But she just makes like the sacrifices she makes to support me and be there for me mentally as well, and like to encourage me in like a scene, in a passion that she doesn't share, is like unbelievable. Like, who, like, how, like, there's no other selfless, like, how that's I can't even describe what I'm trying to say. Like, there's no other grand gesture of love and selflessness other than that. Like, some people like have to be with people who share their passion, or who are like them, who are like have like some like, oh, do we have any like a basic dating question is like, do we have any like similar interests or common interests, like can we relate to each other? Like, me and Lizzie are like the same person, but we're completely different when it comes to our interests and hobbies. And I think that it's just such an act of like selflessness and like pure love that she is like my ride or die and my rock when it comes to my passion and my like desire to pursue a career in music and my love for music. All of my time was like spent outdoors. Like, probably like I would go to school, like when I was in elementary school, like go to school at 8 and then come home at 3. I would throw my backpack into I had like a sliding door. throw the backpack into the sliding door and then just stay outside until like 6, until my grandmother like or my nana call me in, like to come in for dinner. But like I was just like always like for fun, like everybody just like played, like there's woods everywhere, like there, I mean like I grew up near the water, but the neighborhoods that I always lived in were always just like woods and forests and like just like nature in general. So when I was younger, like I would just play in like the little woods areas, and kind of like there's this circle, there's like a dead end in my neighborhood, and we called it the creek, and we would go down, there's a little river, but that was a creek, and there's just all fallen branches, and there's like a super steep hill that you like have to walk down to get to the water. But and then like even like into middle school and stuff, like in high school, like I was always like just fucking around in the woods, like to walk anywhere, like to like walk home from like, or like walk home from school, or like I was always cutting through the woods. When I was younger, I'd smoke in the woods, like with friends. Like it was just always, I was like always, I'm not like a nature buff or like super obsessed with nature, but like to like doing things and like for fun, like it always involved like going on like hikes and like walks and just like nature.
Do
like,
the woods kind of
outside.
have like a sense of like comfort for you?
Absolutely. Like whenever I go to like California, which I've only been to like twice, but whenever I go to a different place that has like a different type of like geological, is that what you call it? Yeah, like a geological, like a different landscape than like the East Coast, I always get like, whenever I come home, it always is like a weight, like not a weight off my shoulders, but like a deep breath, like, oh, like I'm home. Like, cause even like Florida and stuff, like when you go down to, like I like travel to Florida a lot to see family, and like just with the palm trees, it just feels so weird that there's not like oak trees and like pine trees, like just everywhere, and there's not leaves, or like depending on the season. Even like the whole idea that there's not like seasons someplace is like crazy to me. Like I need that change, like I need that like ever evolving, like I don't know, just like weather in general. And I don't love the cold, but at the same time, like I grew up in it, so there's some sort of like peace that I find with it overall. But yeah, like just like the landscape of like New England and Massachusetts is just so like peaceful, and like that's home. Like just like the feeling of it. Even driving around like on the highway and seeing like foliage, and it doesn't even have to be foliage, just seeing like the canopy, like the top of trees, like if you're like driving on the highway, like it's so weird to be somewhere else and see like just like palm trees or something. Like it just feels like something's like off, like I'm not complete, like I'm not home. So like always just like nature in the woods, and that environment for me is like I always find some type of warmth in general.
Awesome.